Hi, so I recently did a video on how I prefer to add a count in to a Cubase project, and in the comments of that video I was reminded of another way to do this in Cubase, which may be better for some of you. So let's talk about that and let's go. Yeah, so in my recent video about adding a count in to my Cubase project, I showed you the way that I always prefer to do it. But a lot of you did remind me of another way that this is possible, which I didn't mention in the video. So let's have a quick look at this, and I promise it'll be a short video. So this is the example project that I was using for this. And in that first video, I basically ended up with a macro Ctrl-Shift-Alt-C to add a count in, which results in the following changes. It basically adds an audio click track at the beginning of my project, and the length of that inserted click is determined by how I set my locators. I had them set to 1 bar, so it inserted an audio click for 1 bar. So all very simple, and it's actually the way that I prefer, but there's another native way in Cubase to do something similar. Let's get rid of this with Ctrl-Z, because what you can also do in Cubase is just not alter your project at all, but in the metronome setup here at the bottom left, you can see that you can also set up a click during count in. So if you enable this, you can determine over here how many bars of count in you would want. And you can even set the time signature of the count in. For example, the time signature at the position that you start recording in, the time signature at the project position, or you can even set up a custom time signature, but let's just use the default one. And if I now go to the beginning of the project and I start recording, baby, I don't like you. Feels like you basically also get a 1 bar count in, and you hear the click only during the count in and not during the whole project, the same as my inserted audio click. And an advantage of this method is that you can also, of course, use it anywhere you want to start recording. For example, on bar 6. If I start recording on bar 6, don't cry, please. I first get a count in, and then I can start recording exactly at that position. Now there's another little feature in Cubase that you can use to disable or enable that count in. And you can get that by dragging on these little buttons here around the click track. Because over here you can see that there's actually an activate count in button. And you can use that to enable or disable the count in when you start recording. For example, if I now start recording, you can see that you don't get a count in. If I click on this button, I do get a count in the way you've configured it in the metronome setup. Now this works perfectly fine. For myself, I do like the variant better, which I showed in the previous video, where I basically get an audio click inserted at the start of the project, because I can basically change the volume or mute it like any other audio track. And if I want to start recording just before the first beat, so during the count in already, I have the ability to do that. And that click track also works when I'm just playing back and rehearsing with musicians, for example. And the native count in Cubase is basically linked to the recording mode. So you have to enable recording to get that count in. Now you can of course not record enable any tracks like I just showed you. And then it basically behaves the same way as if you're just playing back, but you still get the count in. So I hope you find this another useful video looking at Cubase functionality. If you do, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ring the little bell icon so you know when I publish another video. And I have many affiliate links in the description as well, or you can use the super thanks button below the video if you want to support the channel even more. Now, if you want to know all ins and outs of the metronome click in Cubase, I have a separate video about that, which I'll link over here. Check it out, enjoy, and see you soon.